In this video, we're going to be solving two-step equations. And our first goal in solving a two-step equation is to isolate what we call the variable term. In this example here, our variable term is 4n. It is the term that contains the variable. So what we want to do is isolate that term first. There are two terms on the left side of the equation. So we need to get rid of the other term, and that is the plus 36. So how do I get rid of a plus 36? We use the inverse operation, which is minus 36. And we do that to both sides. So now we have 4n, these cancel, equals 76 minus 36 is 40. And now that we have isolated that variable term, this problem is identical to our one-step equations that we did previously. So how do I get an n by itself if it's being multiplied by 4? I would do a division of 4 on both sides. Try to keep my colors consistent here. So then we get the 4's here cancel out. That's a 4 divided by 4, which is 1. So we get 1n equals, and then 40 divided by 4 is 10. And so n is the value, or 10 is the value that n would be to make this a true statement. And we're going to show that that's true. If I plug it back into the original equation, you would get 4 times 10, which is 40, plus 36. 40 plus 36 is actually 76. And 76 does, in fact, equal 76. So 10 is our solution. Write that. So you can see it better. N is 10. Let's look at some more examples. Again, we want to focus on isolating the variable term. So in this equation, the variable term is right here. Let's get that by itself. In order to get that by itself, I would need to get rid of the negative 6. So I'm going to add 6 because that's a minus 6. Do it to both sides of the equation. And now I have 7a equals, we get a negative value because the negative is stronger with the 139. It would be negative 133. Now we have 7a equals negative 133, and we're trying to figure out 7 times something gives me a negative 133. Well, since it's being multiplied by 7, we would divide by 7. Now I do know that the a value will be negative because a negative divided by a positive is a negative every time. 7 times 20 is 140, so this must be 7 less than that, which is 19. 19 sevens would give me 133. So the answer is negative 19. On the next one, our variable term is right here. To get my variable term by itself, I would need to get rid of the 4. It's a positive 4. So it's being added a positive 4 to my variable term. So I am going to subtract 4 from both sides. If we do that, you're going to get a 0, and then you're going to get x over 5 equals, and then 1 minus 4 is a negative 3. We have one more step to finish this problem. I'm going to move over here. X over 5 equals negative 3. So some number divided by 5 will give me a negative 3. We can find that by undoing the division that is here. And that is multiplication. We times 5 times 5. Your 5's will cancel and you'll be left with x equals, and then this product is negative 15. That is the value of that variable that makes this statement true. Okay, we just have two more of these. My variable term on this one is negative 5m. I'm going to go ahead and group that whole thing in my mind. And then there's a 6, and it doesn't really say what it's happening with that, but it's a separate term, so it's added or subtracted. In this case, we know that it's added because it's a positive 6. So how do I get rid of that positive 6 term? We subtract 6. We do that from both sides. 6 minus 6 cancels out, leaving me with my variable term of negative 5m equals, we have negative 69 minus 6 more, which is negative 75. That's because they're both negative, so they're working deeper into the negatives. They work together, and now we have negative 75. One more step. It says negative 5m equals negative 75. You must remember that negative 5m is negative 5 times m. It's not a subtraction just because there's a minus sign there. So how do we get rid of a multiplication? We divide. We're going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. And those would cancel, leaving me with m equals, and a negative divided by a negative is positive. 75 divided by 5 is 15. And in the last one, it's a little bit different because I would say let's isolate our variable term, but really this is the entire term. We do have a denominator and a numerator, and this is in parentheses. So it's kind of like these are grouped together, and we really want to get rid of this 2 first. So we are going to get rid of this division right here, divide by 2, by using multiplication. Multiply that side by 2, multiply this side by 2. This 2 and this 2 will cancel out, and we'll be left with 1 plus x. On the right side, you're going to get 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. And from here, it should be a walk in the park. We just got to get x by itself, which means we must get rid of the 1. We're going to minus 1 because it's positive. Minus 1 over here. Don't mess up this last calculation. They are both negative. They're both working towards the left. And so that's a negative 5. If I plugged in negative 5 for the x value and calculated this, it would come out to be true. That's all we have for two-step equations. If you have any questions, let me know.